Is everyone still with me? It looks like the connection went out for a second, but now it's back. Are you all still with me? Okay. I'm gonna wait just a second. Okay, good. My connection, like all of a sudden, it's like you are offline. I'm like, no, I'm not. Anyway, as I was saying, if you are feeling good about how you did, keep doing the same thing. And if you wish you had done a little bit better, as we move into this next unit, this is a great time to kind of reevaluate. And maybe you study a little bit as we go, or you do the study guide if you didn't do it last time. And in order to kind of help encourage that, you'll see that this week there is what I'm calling a little self assessment. And as part of this self assessment, I'm asking you to kind of reflect on how you've done so far and how, if you need to change anything moving forward. So let's see here. Sorry, I'm waiting to make sure. Somebody said that everything is frozen. On my end, it looks good, but I'm going to wait 1 second just to check. Okay. Everything looks like it's okay on my end. Okay, good. I'm glad. If you need to hit refresh, everything looks okay on my end. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so anyway, so as we move into week number 5, like I said, what I would like to encourage you to do is to kind of take a moment and look at what you've done and where you're at and if you need to change anything. And so you'll be doing that this week as part of this little self-assessment. There is no time limit on this. It is worth 5 points. Please be honest. It's kind of your chance to consider your progress and grades and approach to the class so far, and if you need to change anything. So I'm not looking for any specific answer. It's more for you. I want you to take the time to think about your learning and try and see if there's anything you need to change. So as we move into the second, fourth of the class, hopefully that will kind of help you to evaluate. We also move into kind of our next unit. So we're starting chapter 3 this week, and I've divided chapter 3 into 2 parts, kind of like we did with chapter 2. And so make sure you read part 1 in the book, pages 55 to 66. And we're looking at 3 claims for validities, interrogation tools for consumers of research. So we're going to look this week at what are variables and what are the 3 different claims: frequency, association, and causal. I have some beyond the book kind of stuff on here as well about correlational research. We're going to start talking about correlations and different ways that we can represent that. We can represent it with a graph. We can also represent it with a number. And so we're looking at negative, positive, and zero correlations. And a big concept in research methods and psychology in general, that correlation and causation are not the same thing. So I made a little video about that, and I have some examples here. Definitely something that we're focusing on quite a bit for this week. And then on the last page, as always, you have the different key terms that you need to know for the next exam. So again, if you didn't do as well as you would like, you could always make sure you have these terms down now, and then you could add to it next week with the next terms. And that's a really great way to do a little bit at a time and maybe keep it a little more manageable. So make sure you read through the lecture, watch any videos and things that I put in there. Don't forget to also watch the lecture video and consider taking notes. That's me lecturing to some PowerPoint slides. And once you've read the chapter in the book, done the lecture, and watched the lecture video, you can consider discussion number 5. And as always, for the discussion, you have my instructions up here at the top, a little video to kind of help you and give you some tips and suggestions specific to this discussion. And then here are the questions below. So there's a short article right here about 8 ways that screens are ruining your family's lives. Screens are such a big part of like everything right now. My 3 kids right now are in the other rooms, all on their phones or screens, I guarantee. Well, I'm out here on a screen talking to you. So what I want you to do is to read the article and then answer these 4 questions. So number 1, summarize the article in 1 to 2 sentences. Make sure that you include their conclusions or findings in your summary. Number 2, thinking about the 3 types of claims that we talked about in the book. What type of claim is the author making in this article? Is it frequency, association, or causal? And then, is the author's claim accurate or justified? In other words, is the type of claim that they make in the article actually the correct type of claim according to your reading? Hint, if you're having trouble determining the type of claim, think about whether the variables were measured or manipulated. Are they related to each other, or can we determine cause? And sometimes that will maybe help you, but you're looking to see, do the claims that they make match up with what they can actually conclude? And I want you to write and comment on that a little bit. Number 3, find 2 different examples in the articles of terms or variables that need to have an operational definition in order to be successfully measured or evaluated. For example, if I say like student success, how am I measuring or defining student success? I'm going to need to operationalize that in order to make it meaningful. So find 2 different examples, there are several, of terms or variables in the article that really should be operationally defined in order to be measured. And then I want you to, number 4, think about potential third variables and or the directionality effect. How else could any of the variables or aspects of this article possibly be explained? So 4 questions. And again, as we start to get into a little harder, kind of more core materials here, talking about types of claims and correlations and operational definitions, really make sure that you're giving me lots, showing off that you understand and can apply all that information. Don't forget to also reply to a classmate, right? And so that will be your discussion for this week, discussion number 5. Hello, welcome. And again, make sure you reply to a classmate and then really answer in depth, showing off your knowledge and understanding. So as we look at this week again, you have the reading, the lecture, and the lecture video, the discussion, that short little self-assessment that I mentioned where you're reflecting on your progress so far. I will, of course, post the recording of this a little bit later once I've uploaded and downloaded it. And then let me give you some reminders along with the extra credit question. And as I mentioned, we're in the like 15-20 minute range for these, so kind of short and sweet, but hopefully, I hope, helpful. So a couple of reminders. The first one, we're, oops, I forgot to put the correct one in here. So let me copy and paste this in. So we are in week number 5, and if you remember, the Twitch subscriptions are only good for 30 days. So if you find that your subscription is expired, so for example, is it Avneet, right? You no longer have the football cake next to your name, or there's a couple of people though that, oh no, that's just because Alexis, yours no longer has the football cake next to your name. What that means is you need to go back and renew it for free for another 30 days. So if you have a chance to do that, I appreciate it. It makes my life so much simpler. And I really greatly appreciate those of you who took the time to do that and save me the time of looking each person up. So thank you for that. The other reminder I have for you is as we look forward to next week, our live stream next week will be on the 18th at 1 o'clock. So let me put that here in the chat. Our next Twitch live stream will be on Wednesday, 9/18 at 1 o'clock p.m. Okay, so you can expect our next live stream to be pretty similar timing. Sorry that I keep moving the timing just a tiny bit based on what's going on with my kids. They all had minimum days today, so definitely had to move things just a tiny bit around. And then let me give you the Twitch extra credit question for this week so that you can answer that to get points. And I'll talk about it just a tiny bit here. So this is the week number 5 Twitch extra credit question. And I'm going to put it in the chat. What are 2 ways that a correlation can be portrayed or represented? So I'm not asking for like the positive, negative, 0 correlation, but what are 2 ways, if you wanted to tell me about the strength of a correlation or kind of portray it to me in some way or convey it, what are 2 different ways that you could do that? And that's definitely something talked about in the lecture and the book for this week. So when you are ready to answer that, since we're in week 5, you'll go to optional Twitch extra credit number 5 right here under this week. Click on start assignment, and then you can type your response And when you're ready, hit submit for, oops, I spelled response wrong. Sorry about that. Confetti and balloons. Very exciting. Makes more sense than earlier was hot air balloons. So now we have regular balloons. But make sure you get going on all of the materials for this week, for week number 5. And again, don't forget on that self assessment, please be honest. More than anything, that is for you. And I'm not looking for any particular answers in specific. So get going on the materials for this week. I will hang out for a little bit. If you do have any questions for me, I'm more than happy to answer them. Otherwise, again, I hope you all have a wonderful week enjoying the slightly cooler weather. I'm very grateful for that. And I will hope to see you next week for our week number 6 Twitch live stream. So I'm going to minimize my video, but I will hang out for a little while if you do have any questions for me. And thank you all for joining me. Right? Thank you as well. I hope you have a wonderful week. Alexis, yours is expired as well, so make sure you take a look at that if you have a chance. You too have a great week, a great day. And I am still here and we'll hang out for a little bit if you do have any questions for me. More than happy to answer them.